Greetings and thank you for joining us for another installation on the Coin King channel. I'm your host, Down to Crypto TA. Feel free to connect with me on X using the handle Down to Crypto TA. There's a photo of me here with Nelson Mandela and one of his famous quotes, "Don't money won't create success, the freedom to make it will." And that is so true. Don't forget to follow the Coin King at the Coin King, and that is with a DA at the Coin King, Crypto King, aka the Coin King. All right, guys. So it's been 3 days since we got the ETF approval. Such a bittersweet moment, especially for Mr. Gensler, who said that he approved the ETF but not Bitcoin, which is you know far from his prior speeches. But anyway, we're here. He was one of the deciding votes, and he voted yes. So here we are. We got the ETF approval. And again, guys, believe what you see and not what you hear. Okay, Bitcoin ETF. I don't think that it's a failure. Let me start there. I know what the title suggests, Bitcoin ETF trap, but I don't think that it is a trap, and I don't think that the ETF is a failure. It takes time. All of your mooners who are telling you that we're just going to go from ETF approval straight to the moon apparently don't understand that it takes time. We could see some downside for a while here before we finally see that capital start to flow in. We're at the top. We was getting all of these top signals. That doesn't change. That narrative does not change all the top signals that we've been receiving. So we have to include the technicals. Right now, price action has been moving on speculation and speculation alone. Fundamentally, when the fundamental trading begins to kick in, then that's going to be a whole nother ball game. Okay. So, patience there. Know that this is not a trap. If you're invested, and this is investing, if you're invested, then expect great returns and just hodl. Just hodl and add to your position at the right time. I'm not saying to you that you should catch falling knives by any means, but look for other opportunities to add to your position. All right, so we're just getting started right now with this bit of a pullback right here. And here on the 1 hour chart, we are catching a little bit of support here. We've been hitting a couple of these pivots here on our way down. Um, broke our first one here with some pretty good momentum. We broke this one here, put in a couple of fair value gaps on the way down. So got a bit of a bounce here off of this pivot here, which is going to be your third pivot coming down. Got a little bit of a bounce here, came up to about your midpoint here of this value gap and continued down, breaking this one before hitting this order block where we seem to have found a little bit of support here. And it is a pretty good area for some support. Let's see, we've had a couple of moments here in the chart where we can see this is held up as some pretty good support for price action. So we'll see how that goes. It would be a 1 hour pump as far as I'm concerned. Moving averages here, you are above your 50, which is starting to turn a little bit, but we'll just have to see how that goes. You are below your 200 moving average right here. So maybe get a move up and get a rejection from that 200 if we can find the momentum to move up here. What I would like to see personally, which doesn't mean that it's going to happen, I would like to see us sweep the low. The low would be this last pivot point right here, which is $40,196.25. That would give us that lower low. That is what I would like to see. And it is a strong possibility for that happening if we take a look at our 4 hour chart. Because here on our 4 hour chart, We are beneath our 200 moving average as well as our 50 moving average, and those have crossed over. Doesn't really mean too much here on the 4 hour chart, as far as death crosses and things like that go. But we are still within this range of what I believe is Wyckoff distribution, and never looks the way if you ever see the image of what Wyckoff looks like, it never looks exactly like that. And I think that a lot of people tend to look for that. But again, we've received so many signals that we were topping here ever since we made our way up here to this point. And exactly this is where this area right here is where I began sounding the alarm and saying that there is weakness in the chart. And I started to break down phases. I said 1 hour phase, I said 4 hour phase, and I said we're getting to that daily phase. Um, it took a little bit more time than I assumed. But nonetheless, I have been putting that information out there to be cautious within this area for this. What we have seen in the chart, and I'm just going to go over here to the daily chart. What we've seen here in this area right here, you've seen a spike in volume. You've seen these big red candles, or mine's are orange or fuchsia or whatever color, multiple colors. You see these big downward moves here. These candles, they're pretty large here, very large in comparison to your bullish candles. So we haven't actually had that happen during this entire move. So coming off of this low here, coming up, bullish, 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 a little bit of red here, of course, because that's how markets move in zigzags and not in straight lines to heaven. And then suddenly you get all of this selling pressure coming in. A lot of it is fear that the ETF is not going to stand up to its potential, but it will. It will over time. So we just have to be patient and give it some time. This actually is your biggest volume candle here out of this entire move to the upside. It's this one right here. So again, a lot of selling pressure coming in. We talked about the convergence of your 50 period moving average, the blue one. I'm sorry, the 200 is the blue one, and then the 50 is the red one here. We talked about the convergence of this and how we had not seen that happen throughout this entire move up. Only when we got the cross here, and this right here, this was a nozzle nose right here. Unlike this is so welded together, like just really propping the price up here for the ETF approval, and to get that extra little bit of a 2% move. I call it a 1% on the last video. Let me turn my magnet on. So just this 2% move, this extra 2% move is what everybody was waiting on to confirm. And now you see a lot of YouTube videos that are confirming that this is probably the top. This was it. Now that we've hit that golden pocket, got that extra little 2% move, when we could have been saying to people, okay, we're getting toppy right here, but still we're just talking about how we're blasting off and going to uh Elon Mars. And maybe it's not over. Who knows? We can all be wrong. This is just the probabilities in the chart that we've peaked out. We do have this shooting star right here on the daily chart. Over here on the weekly chart, I had mentioned this prior to that. It wasn't looking really pretty right here with this candle right here. But we still have a few days left here in the week, so we'll see how that goes. You had already gotten a cross down right here between your 10 and your 20. Sometimes price will push up through those like it did right here, but this right here happened to be a false move right here. Somebody tried and they failed, and price was onwards and upwards right there. So, yeah, it looks as if we're there. It looks as if we're there. And we can always turn around and blast it through here. And I do believe we did get a cross down there of, let's see, I think it was the 10. Yeah. The 10 is already crossed down through there. The 20, not just yet. So again, where could we be looking at price action going? Oh, another thing here. And this could actually be showing essence. And yeah, you have to move lines. The thing about trend lines is they're never drawn perfectly, and you have to constantly redraw them. And psychologically, it, it gives you hope, hope that your analysis is correct. So that is what we have here. Potential support there. Before we break down further, I'm going to show you here using, and I'm going to come off of this one right here and just connect there and then pull up here. So you can see that this is a rising pattern, and rising patterns tend to break down more than they do break to the upside, even though we've seen that a few times in this rally that we've been getting. Bull rally, bear rally, who cares? If it's going up, we want to be in it making money. And if it's going down, some people want to be in it making money going down too, shorting the market. So no sense in missing out on an opportunity to make money. It's about making money versus being right, being in profit. Okay, so rising pattern here. Tend to break to the downside, catching support right down in here, like I showed you on that 1 hour chart. Probably get a little bit of a bounce if it continues to hold that support there. Again, I do believe that it would be a 1 hour bounce, and we consolidate long enough, then we could turn into a 4 hour bounce, and we can see ourselves coming back up, trying to retest. And as long as these are pivoted to the upside, because it's only been a day. Okay, so it's always time for price, always room for price to be able to come back up and retest, and maybe succeed, maybe fails. But those are the probabilities. I am looking for a bit of downside here. That's also your weekly mid range here. We're catching support off of as well. Um, we talked about these levels here, and we discussed some of the fair value gaps and things of that nature as far as where price could pull back into. So, for starters, let's look here. Let's say we sweep the low here. Let's start here. Looking here, this is between what, 38,000 and $37,000 right in here. From there, getting that bounce up, like I said, and then getting a further pull down. You guys already know, and these are my monthly fair value gaps here. Now, you guys already know that I do believe that this is a very considerable place for price to pull back to. We have this range over here, which is this fair value gap right over here, about $36,000, mid range 36 for give or take a few dollars here. So um, I do believe that this is an area for us to pull back into, and I'm not counting this area right here out. Um, we got that golden cross here on the weekly chart back over here, depending on what type of moving averages you're using. So my moving averages take into account the most recent data, where if you're using a different type of moving average, let's say like your simple moving average, then it calculates a lot more data than a faster moving average, such as this one. Like a whole moving average, you're going to calculate a lot faster than you will if you're using a SMA or EMA. So golden cross here. And I remember at the time on Twitter when we got this golden cross, one thing that I was saying is that price was going to get a rapid drop off. Everybody was going to start to feel a bit bearish, and then you're going to get this swift turnaround, and boom, we're at some new highs, and that is exactly what happened. Even myself forgot forgot about that tweet and got here. And I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do now. And I began to feel really bearish because we were just dragging out right in here, just dragging out. And that's what happens when you're looking at higher time frames anyway. Your weekly chart takes weeks and months to play out. Your monthly chart takes months and years to play out. So and I'm much better at looking at higher time frames and in terms of market analysis goes. We talked about this one right here. We talked about this when everybody was saying, we're going higher, we're going higher. And I was sounding the alarm on Twitter once again saying, no, have you guys looked at the volume? The volume is so petty. There is no way that we're going to keep mooning off of petty volume. At some point, it has to give. And it ended up being a swift move down. And one of the reasons why I was able to call that is because you had to have it. You had to have it. All of this time we was getting this chop right up in here. We was getting this chop because of every little small move down was creating bullish divergence. So the only way to omit that bullish divergence was to just get a swift move to the downside. And that is what we got. A swift move to the downside. That little extra move up here to this golden pocket here. Here to the monthly fair value gap, where when we did the video, we was just tapping underneath it. In fact, we were just tapping underneath it. And so we got that small little extra move right there just for other YouTubers to come out and say, okay, I think we hit the top. When this whole time, it's just been liquidity. It's just been liquidity. At this point, the market wasn't looking to come back and pull into any fair value. It wasn't looking to let buyers in at this point. Just here at this top point right here, just enough to try to get these extra little moves, because that's what you come back for. You come back for a little bit of liquidity to get the market moving up, or for a little bit of liquidity to get the market moving down. And yes, that was this pivot right in here. Now let's just say, for the sake of saying, let's just say this isn't the end, or this isn't the top. Where do we go next? And I think I mentioned this. I would be looking for us to come to the midpoint of this fair value gap. Either to the midpoint of this fair value gap or to take out this little peak right here. But we're going to have to see what we do. We are still, well, we did cross down just a little bit right here. So that, I'm on edge a little bit about that, because any small move up, you're going to flick back above this red line right here, and that's going to start to pull prices up a bit more. So typically with the weekly chart, what I've noticed is everything happens at the cross of the yellow line is what I've been seeing, except for this occasion right here, because we were underneath the implied volatility here. We were underneath it, so we came back up, retested, and then we got the move down. And then you can see where the rapid speed starts to take off is when we're coming down and we're crossing below the yellow one right there. And the same thing over here, which they were kind of glued together right here, both the red and the yellow. And then we got that move up here. And I happened to be up that night when this was happening. I was like, I can't sleep because Bitcoin is about to break out. I I pinned that to the top of my account for a minute there. But that was sweet, being able to identify that and us getting this wonderful move to the upside here. Still haven't quite crossed over here either. That's another thing that I'm waiting on right there. But we haven't done much in terms of the weekly chart. It looks like a lot when you go down to your 1 hour and your 4 hour and your daily chart. It looks like we've really done a lot, and we haven't really done a lot, but enough it's enough damage. It's enough damage to hurt some people financially. Okay, so another thing with the whole Bitcoin ETF situation is this. We've been through a lot in the crypto space, a lot. We been through the FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried debacle. We had the Terra Luna crash. We had Elon selling. We had Voyager to go down. I mean, we've had so many catalysts to take place in the crypto space. A lot of people were hurt financially, and that money doesn't just turn around and come back into the market simply because we got an ETF. That it just doesn't happen like that. So, again, it's a process, and eventually it will come to fruition. Eventually that money, the capital will start to come in. I don't see personally, I don't see BlackRock giving financial advice or, you know, to their customers. This is a great place to buy in at. I mean, this is a potential peak, provisional, but a potential peak here that we're looking at. So yeah, just put your money in right here because it's only up from here. The technicals still matter. We still have to go with what we see in the chart because right now it's just speculation about what the market is going to do. Um, with having the ETF approval, it's still speculation. But fundamentally, we all believe in Bitcoin, right? I don't know. But it has made some millionaires and some billionaires. So that is noteworthy for sure. Noteworthy for sure. Okay, so back over here on this low here that I'm saying about this $25,000. I don't know why I'm stuck on it. At some point, this moving average right here, because this is a monthly chart. At some point, it's going to move past that, and that could be out of the question. But this is a silver cross, at least at best, a silver cross here with the 50, and then the lower period moving average here. A lot of times you get the cross and then you get a retest, and so that's the only bit of analysis that's concerning me is, do we come back and we get a retest? And if that retest fails, what happens then? Like, again, I don't believe we come back down here. I do believe, and I was having this conversation um, earlier this morning with the Coin King. I do believe that Capo's analysis initially was correct. Initially, it was correct. But as the hype around the ETF approval became more dominant, I believe that his thesis was invalidated at that moment. That is what I personally believe. He was correct at one point, and this was simply going to be a bear market rally. And there were some things that changed for me on the monthly time frame, and that is here, and that is with the jewel indicator. I I don't see it dropping all the way back down to here. I just don't see that happening. But it doesn't mean that it can't, because as long as you have a range, price can go anywhere. There were some tweets that I seen. I don't have them here, so I guess there's no point in me talking about them because you need a reference. But there were some. Actually, you know what, guys? Let's take a look at some ideas over here. That sounds like fun. I like to do this, and if you don't have TradingView, you can get a free version of TradingView, and you can come over here and you can take a look at some other analysis because I like to bounce ideas off of other analysts, and I like to see what other people are saying as well. Um, there was someone's in here. Let me see if I can find it. It was very interesting. Uh, hmm, I don't know. I may not be able to just easily come across it. But he was just comparing the gold ETF, and he was kind of saying how um, Bitcoin could shadow what the gold ETF ended up doing. I really wanted to find his analysis as it was interesting enough, but it doesn't look like. Let me check Ethereum and see if I still had it open over here. Yeah, so here it is. All right, so he was just kind of comparing the gold ETF. He's saying right here that on the 18th of November 2004, the gold ETF was approved. So it was approved right here in this area right here. It got the final pump before you see it getting this nice little correction back down. Here, I cannot tell you exactly what percent of a move back down that was, but I thought that that was pretty interesting. And so he's saying that, Bitcoin here with our final pump or the double top here is what he's saying. So he's not saying that Bitcoin is done just yet, because we do have to attempt at a move back up, unless this is just, you know, a V shape dump to the downside, which I don't think that that's going to happen with Bitcoin. So I do expect that we'll get a move back up to retest the highs. Um, and then from there, we'll continue our little downwards correction, pivotal top there. So I like the idea of this, of us doing just that. Now, he is showing here that well, gold ended up breaking the trend line, which is exactly what Bitcoin did. And we got that last corrective move. When we got this corrective move right here, Bitcoin ended up breaking it because that line was, and I had that. I tweeted on that several times before I'd seen anyone else even begin to talk about it. And then when they were talking about it, they was calling it a Livermore bullish ascending a broadening top, and I'm like, no, that is bearish as heck. Usually rising patterns are bearish. They're bearish, depending on the degree of the angle too. They're bearish. Usually when you're moving at a rate faster than a 45-degree angle, 45, 55-degree angle, it's hard to sustain that, you know? So yeah. But this is pretty interesting because yep, so far you got that little bit of a move right there. We'll see. So you see, it's not that the Bitcoin ETF is a trap. It's just it takes time. It takes time. It takes time. And you don't just get to simply invalidate. I mean, markets can be irrational. Sure, markets can be very irrational, longer than we can all be solvent. But a lot of top signals, and you don't just throw out the technicals simply because you have speculation. Speculation doesn't last. It just doesn't last. It's a short-lived stint. It doesn't last. But we know the fundamentals are there. So we just need to give it some time. Oh, and I just need to give this person some credit, right? Because I did not. Excavo. You guys can follow Excavo. Okay. And if you have, Trading View, you can come over here and you can just kind of look at, you got Tesla in here. I'll cover quite a bit of different stock market, forex, crypto, whatever. Got AMC there, Mara. Not sure what that is. And more Bitcoin. Bitcoin can go up by descending broadening wedge. Let's see this guy. Who is this? Pedgman. All right, Pedgman. Okay, he's looking at the 15-minute chart. So, yeah, I concur. I concur because we were just saying we're getting support right now. Now, let's look back. Getting support right now on our 1 hour chart. Yep, getting a little move up here, a little double bottom if you take the noise out here, triple bottom, take the noise out here. So yeah, I mean, if you were to still have to get past this resistance right here. So you can see we got a bit of a rejection right here. The first time we attempted here, still trying to get that curve posture, but you can do that long before you get it here. But at some point, you're going to come back and test it if it continues to lag behind. So maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. Ethereum. I'm not here to talk about Ethereum today, but I do want to. I was just I happened to be looking at the chart this morning right before I decided to do this video here. I'm just taking a look at the volume, and this is on a weekly chart. So we still have a few days left in the weekly chart. So trading is still going on right here in this volume bar here, but better than the past few bars. But you see this candle size right here, and then you see this candle size right here, and you see this candle size right here, and then you see the volume that came behind those candles right there. uh, I'm just still not convinced just yet about Ethereum being ready to hit these lavish targets, that everybody has set for. Volume just still is kind of petty for me. And markets can move on low volume, but they don't tend to last, it doesn't tend to last. I no longer have any Ethereum. My Ethereum was on Voyager. And sadly, that's gone, you know. Besides what they did give me back. Let's see right here, because we have, let's do it like that. And here, yep. So golden pocket, ascending channel. You're just hitting the top of it right here. Doesn't necessarily mean that you reject here, but there's some things to consider. Got the 786 right up here. Pretty good bit of resistance in this zone, it looks like. We got here. We got this here. We got all of this right here. You can even count this in right here. So yeah, just looking across here. Yeah, it's about right there at the meat of these candles here. So pretty good resistance right in here too. Resistance there. Top of the channel here. Golden pocket here. We'll see. Yep. We'll see how that goes for Ethereum. Now Ethereum's been running a lot longer than Bitcoin has. Ethereum began back over here in June. June of 2022 is where Ethereum, let me be precise here. So since back over here in June, Ethereum's been making higher lows and higher highs. So Ethereum's been going for a minute, 208% up. Gotten some pretty significant pullbacks at the same time. And see right here to here, that's a 47% move down. And from here to here, that's About a 29% pullback right there. So let's just go with both of these. Say, okay. So let's just say we're getting the 30 to 29% pullback here. Yeah, that would be back here, back over here, right around this top right in here. And if we were to go any further, yeah, it's not going to do all that. But we could say, um, wow. Oh, yeah, let's just go with this area right over here. Yeah, so back around in here, you also have your first red candle right here from this move up, one, two, three, four, and then you got a red candle right here. So there was some sort of there was some resistance and support right in here. So yeah, I like to look at that too. Where you get your first, when you're getting a lot of green candles going up, where does your first red candle come into play? Because price would tend to go back down and retest that zone too. That's one probability that lines up with that. A little lower than that move right there. Back over here to this, yeah. So that would make sense. That would make sense if you were to continue to get a little bit of a rejection here on Ethereum and start to pull back a bit. Well, let's just move this up a little bit because this 50 right here is going to start to move. So you do want to lose the 50 before I get carried away. You are going to want to lose the 50 and then go from there. Ethereum didn't do as well retesting the 200 as Bitcoin did, but that is quite interesting. Yeah, Ethereum has been in this uptrend since June, and sweet old Bitcoin started back over here in November. We said 208%. So they're about neck and neck. They're about neck and neck. But Bitcoin, being that it has been performing a little, uh, started a little later than Ethereum did. It has performed better. Has performed better, and it hasn't gotten. Well, this is the monthly chart. It has definitely performed better than Ethereum. And Ethereum, the 20% moves. This is not just going to be 20%. Oh, okay, so that's about right here at this 39, just sweeping the low, but nah, this is not going to just do a 20% pullback. I honestly don't think it is. I don't think it is. If we come back down to here, it's almost a 40% pullback. And then just up in here, I'm just going to go off the meat of this. Yeah, this was my first pick. Was right in here because you can see when we got right in here, we started to struggle. It started to struggle a bit, getting the momentum to go higher. At that point, a bunch of doji candles sitting there. You look to your left over here, and you can see that was the same issue right here. When price was selling off, you know, started to lose a little bit of momentum right here in this space right here. So yeah, right here. If we were to fall back up under it, it probably wouldn't be good for us. Apparently, that's what that is looking like. It wouldn't be too good for us. Okay, but that is all I have to say about the market right now. And I did tweet, this one candle move for me is just not going to do it for Not gonna do it for Ethereum for me, especially since we've been rallying for quite a while and we've put in just about the same thing as Bitcoin has. And everybody's acting like Ethereum hasn't moved. Ethereum has been moving. Now Ethereum did. Ethereum is looking a little bit better. I would have to say that, You got this what was I looking at that on? Was I looking at yeah, over here on the daily chart. Unlike with Bitcoin right here, how Bitcoin's moving averages were welded together at the point Ethereum's came converged, but then it swooped up. So a bit of a fake out right there. Or maybe what happened is somebody flew over here into this, but I still don't. I don't see it, guys. Probably some good volume there. Yeah. Some good volume right there. So that's a plus. That's a plus. It was picking up some red volume. Now you got some heavy green volume right here. So maybe it does move up a little bit more. Altcoins in general, I think that we're due a correction. You may have some, and you've had a lot of low low cap gems to pump. So you may still have some more that are going to do it, but a lot of coins at this point, and it's something that I've been looking at is what's been popping with Bitcoin. So you've had a lot of pullbacks on certain cryptos like Solana and AVAX and FTM, who've all performed outstandingly well thus far. And since they've been getting their correction, they've only been moving with Bitcoin. So that's a little bit concerning for me right there when it comes to those. So you guys do take a look at that. And I am not going to hold you up any longer. Please, 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 do hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. The Coin King, this guy. This guy, people, this wonderful guy right here, he needs your support. So help support his channel by hitting that like button, and you can also subscribe if you wanna keep up with the content here over on the Coin King channel. Subscribe to the channel, but do hit the like button. Show the channel some support. Help the content get out there. You know, help us. Help us to get to a place where we can bring you guys better content. And the way we do that is YouTube algorithm. Okay. It gives us something to strive for. Everybody wants to have something to strive for. So thank you, and see you guys next time.